When
Got
you
it,
hear the
got it.
sound of the bell, you know you're in the championship rounds with King Amin of Essex, and I'm here with Mr. the one and only Jay Hardcore of Hardcore Boxing News Champ. Let him know where to find you before we get into it.
Hey, it's your boy Jay Hardcore Boxing News, and you can catch me on YouTube at Hardcore Boxing News, or you can go to Instagram at Hardcore Boxing News 51, I believe. Let me see. Yeah, 51.
And guys, don't forget to check him out every morning. He does a daily show. That's for all my truckers, my runners, my exercisers, my security guards, anybody up in the morning, the bus drivers, and you trying to plug in, check him out on YouTube, 8 in the morning, man. Get your fix, because we up early. All right.
Yes, indeed. We call it Hardcore's Hangout. You know where the
Okay.
hardcores come and get it in.
Come on, man. You gotta have a place for us. Build it and they will come. All right.
My man.
Now, in the opposite direction, though, school's out. You know, you building a charter school, so to speak, but school's out. I've been telling you my schedule's been crazy because of that. But it feels like boxing too. Like a lot of these guys are perhaps graduating. A lot of big news, right?
Yeah.
Um, let's do a fight week recap. I really don't want to stay in the UK because a lot of people missed it. But Chris Billam-Smith, if anybody familiar with him, Lawrence Okolie, I know they call him doctor, but he lost. Chris Billam-Smith is the one who graduated, got his doctorate. All right. The calling, the refereeing in that fight was a little crazy for it to even be,
It was a lot of clinching.
a lot of clinching, and for only the 1 point to have been deducted. That was crazy. You had one judge with a 112, but still in all, I guess you can't deny fate. So what do you think about what Okolie does next? Do he need to go back to school? Is it time? Because remember, he was Sugar Hill. He's with Boxer, so he left Eddie. Like, what does he do now? Is this loss just something that it just happened and he can rebuild, or is this a telltale sign?
I really think it's a telltale sign. It was a disaster waiting to happen. When you say they call him the doctor,
Yeah.
well, you know, it looked like he had malpractice the other day for sure. You know what I mean? And Billam-Smith, man, salute to you, man. You did something I knew was going to happen sooner or later, man. It was destruction, and it was, the foundation already had cracks in it. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So eventually that water got through, and that's all it took, man. You know, it was exposed.
Definitely. And I'm glad you said it that way, because we don't want to take away from what Billam-Smith did just to kind of, point out what Okolie's deficits are. But you said something. This has been in the making. The last few fights, it's been kind of hard to side with him. You know what I'm saying? It seems like ever since he left Matchroom, he ain't really been the same. I don't really know what it is. Too much clinching. It was, and maybe this is what he needs now. Maybe this is like, what he need to rebuild himself. I'm an optimist, so that's the side I'm an err on, but I really don't see him getting back to that championship level, if I'm honest. I know he's got a rematch clause triggered, but unless he pulls out the rematch somehow, I don't know if I can see him. And now I don't know what this does for Richard Riakporhe, who was waiting on him, another young cruiserweight, but with knockout power. And he's always had his sights on Chris Billam-Smith. So in one way, this might be housekeeping, but if Okolie is like what fighters are, he's got to come back from this one somehow, man. I don't know.
Yeah, well, time will tell.
Yeah, yeah. And speaking of time telling, keeping it in the UK, Leigh Wood, he righted his wrong. He lost to Lara in the first fight in a rematch, soundly defeated Lara, knocked him down, outboxed him, showed levels in separation from him and the rest of his peers, man. So salute to Leigh Wood. What do you think of that fight?
The boxer won.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And he correct his wrongs from his last fight. You know what I'm saying? He was more poised this time. We talked about it last week when we were talking about what he has to do to win. You know what I mean? He couldn't fight that man's game. He had to play his own fiddle. You know what I'm saying? And that's what he did. He outboxed him, you know what I'm saying? And then when he seen the mistake the guy was making, he capitalized and put him down, man. So salute to that brother for
Definitely.
regaining. his belt, his title.
Yeah, man, definitely. And this is almost, this might be a little end of a tour for Lara. You know what I'm saying? He was making big bags fighting whoever they was throwing at him. But yeah, man, unless there's some sort of rematch clause, which is, Eddie Hearn likes his trilogies and trying to milk it, so they may throw a part 3 in there just to see where it shakes. But I think Leigh Wood probably should just ride this one out, defend this title. And if featherweight is deep though. So I'm not saying like he has anywhere to run to. In the UK, it might not be as thick, but stateside, Eddie Hearn is not afraid to bring them guys stateside or stateside go over there. So, I'd like to see what happens, but I'll let him marvel in his victory for now, right?
Oh man, oh man.
Now we're gonna talk about a few things and a few guys. AJ, 2-fight plan.
I don't like it.
You don't like it, okay? And his allegedly, according to Eddie Hearn, AJ is stuck on a 2-fight plan. He has to fight Dillian Whyte, which that's the part I don't like. Because I feel like if he don't make it through that fight good enough on the other side, the Wilder fight doesn't happen. And then after Dillian Whyte, a fight that I don't think anybody wants to see other than him and Dillian because of the money they think it could make. I don't know. You with me on that one?
Yeah, man. I mean, personally, I'm gonna be truthfully honest. I don't want to see that Dillian Whyte fight. Who wants to see that? We've seen it already. You know what I'm saying? We know how Joshua is, man. And one thing about Dillian Whyte, man, he still has that punch. You know what I'm saying? So he has a puncher chance that can ruin the whole party. We want to see him fight Wilder. You know what I'm saying? Don't fight nobody else until December, man. It's bad that we say that. You know what I mean? It's selfish, but I don't want to see. You want to do a tune-up, man? Get a good tune-up guy, man. White subject to knock you out if he catch you, man. So I think that's a little minefield right there. That we really don't need.
Well, and let's talk about that because I guess my same thing you saying about Dillian Whyte can spoil this for AJ. I feel like we haven't seen really what Derrick James has done with him. And in a fight like with Dillian Whyte, he'd go with his emotions and abandon the technique. So we still wouldn't get a clear picture. So I'm with you. Get a heavyweight that creates a tactical disadvantage, not something where you could switch emotionally. You know what I'm saying? I feel like maybe in AJ's mind, he already got the confidence he can beat Dillian Whyte. So, nah, man, I need AJ to get the confidence that he can adapt to Derrick James's tutelage. And I don't think we see that in a fight with Dillian Whyte. So, hell, I'm trying to think what other heavyweight opponent. I mean, who you got anybody in mind? Like, I think a Frank Sanchez is a little bit too small or maybe a little bit too quick, doesn't present an exciting event.
Joshua just fought, man. Just train right now until it's time to fight.
Okay. Yeah.
Just
hold out till December, right?
Right. Get the big bag, man. You know what I'm saying? He got, this gives him time to really train with Derrick James. Use this time to work with your coach, to learn your coach, for you all to gel more right now. You know what I'm saying? Because you're starting from the basis again. So, do that. Get a lot of sparring in, you know what I'm saying? And then December, fight Wilder, man, and give us what we need, give us what is want, and let's see who the baddest man between them two are.
Yeah, I think that's a good enough plan, man. And I want to keep this about Derrick James for a minute because we also heard that Ryan Garcia, and we've seen, fuck what we heard, we've seen Ryan Garcia down in Dallas with them boys, Derrick James. He's he's in that camp. I don't know if he's in there permanently, but he's been working out with them. And what do you think of the prospect of what Ryan Garcia brings to the table after training with somebody the likes of Derrick James? Or is Derrick James kind of getting his hands a little bit too busy? He's got the AJ project to work on, and now he's taking on the Ryan Garcia project. Is that a little bit too much?
Nah, I don't think it's too much, man. A lot of trainers got, multiple talents. But the thing about it is the people that he has in his stable people that are at the top level of this game, and you know what I mean, you're able to deal with them on, you know, another level, whereas you're not holding them by their hand. You see what I'm saying? They know what to do, and he is basically over there just tweaking different things that he see, opposed to where you got to take him and, you know, this is you ain't got to do that with these guys. These guys been doing this all their lives, you know what I mean? So they got the foundation. All he doing is fine tuning that motor, you know what I'm saying? And he's looking at it and he's seeing where there's little defects, and he correcting the defects of things of that nature. So I think it should be fine.
And so, like, if anybody knows gym culture, if you can imagine this, you know, Earl Spence got this big fight coming up, but he like, look, Anthony, going over here. You over here with my second. I need you to work on this. Hey, Ryan, where Ryan at? I got Ryan on the jump rope with a bike or something warming up, right? And then maybe, you know, Charlo is doing his own thing, right? Look at all those names and look at all that talent. And I want to keep it on Derrick James, and I want to talk about.
But let me just interject right there for a minute, though.
Go ahead.
The way they do it now is they give each fighter their time slot. You see what I'm saying? So they're probably not all in the gym together. You see what I'm saying? They all got that individual attention. So you might come in from 2 to 4. He might come in from 4 to 6. He might come in from 7 to 9, you know, unless you all are sparring against each other.
Well,
so
can you imagine, though, like, again, maybe this is just me, or maybe, you know, maybe their schedule is too busy if I'm trying to play it on both sides. If I'm Ryan Garcia, I'm in there when Mel is working. I got something to learn from. I'm in there when Earl is working.
He should be in there when Frank Martin is working. So they
you see what I'm saying? Yeah. All them guys in there. So I the slotting. That's what. Can you imagine them guys is probably if they love it like they in there unless they need to go home and rest or take care of some business. But I mentioned a name because I feel like 154. All these people talking like 154 is wide open. I seen Brian Mendoza talking about he's ready to clear out the division, right? I see Tim Tszyu said a dog bite ain't gonna stop him from his fight with Ocampos. The only person who I know is the undisputed champion, and I know he's the man, is Jermell Charlo. We know about his brother's absence, Jermall, but is 154 up for grabs? Are we seeing Jermell being held back a bit because Jermall won't move forward? Because why do we got people talking about 154 like it's wide open and the man he's still at home? It's like people talking about buying his house and he upstairs in the fucking bed.
Yeah, but Jermell's been extremely quiet right now. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's that twin thing or something, you know what I'm saying? Because now they both seem like they're in hibernation right now. You know, those one thing about twins, one do what the other do sometimes. But we know that he had that hand injury, you know. So I don't know what's up with that, but that was a while ago now. That hand should have healed up by now. And I don't know what's going on because he's supposed to be fighting Tszyu, but now Tszyu is fighting somebody else. So maybe we might have to get a milk carton and put Jermell Charlo on there, man, and see if we can find him, man. Where you at, Jermell? We need you out there. You know I'm your guy.
Yeah.
But you playing peekaboo right now, brother. We need you to get out here and show people what's going on, man. People scandalizing your name at this point.
Yo, and again, it's fair that we allow Maul to have his moment because we all do as human beings. But Mel is a little different because, like you said, if we're only looking at it from an injury standpoint, that canceled the fight that happened in January. And school's out. And still no Mel Charlo. Kids just graduated from school. They was on winter break. Just finished celebrating Christmas, and we was anticipating the Charlo fight after the New Year. And now all of a sudden,
what's so funny? My kids are still in school.
See? You know, and I'm trying to just figure out, man, is this still a part of bring it back to Derrick James' plan? Because I once heard a plan that he was gonna move everybody up, you know. So yeah.
That's what I heard too.
Yeah, so maybe this is a part of that. So, you know what I mean? Maybe we're going to have to wait and sit through summer school to see what Professor James has in session.
Oh, you know what? Check this out. We got Spence and Crawford, right? Both of them got rematch clauses, right? Whoever wins activates it. but the next fight must be at 154. Jermell Charlo relinquishes the belts, go to 160, and they fight for those belts. Well, actually, that'll look bad. Because let's say that Crawford won. He told Jermell he want to fight him.
Yeah.
So if he went to 160 before, that'll look like a duck. And you ducking a little man. You know what I mean? But then Spence wins. You got to fight your stablemate. Now, Spence said he down for that.
Yeah.
But is Charlo down for it? So, you get to a point where he's caught between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, man. With fighters, they say you come in as enemies, but you end up friends, because after them kind of wars, it's the money you make, the bag you get. But I don't know if the younger generation abides by that. And so, again, it may be Derrick James' plan to have these guys move along peacefully and willfully. But Maul is a big piece in this too, because if he don't move out the way to allow his brother to move up, yeah, people might say it's a duck. But if they said, listen, y'all expected me to stay at 154 much longer than my brother, and I couldn't make that weight, I hung around as long as I could, I wouldn't consider it a duck, because Mel did so much at 154. How long do we expect him to stay? No longer than we expect Maul to finally move up to 168,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. It's getting tricky out here, but hopefully something shakes. But I just don't like the way these guys is in the division, and they acting like Mel ain't home. Mendoza, he's gonna clear it out. Tim's, hey, whatever happens, happens though, man. Speaking of what is happening, Arthur Beterbiev, we know that him and Billam-Smith has recently announced that bout. And I've said this openly, man. I believe Beterbiev has had the tougher road in defending his titles at light heavyweight, more so
No
than
doubt.
Bivol. And no disrespect to Bivol, it's just that he had the pretty boy fight with Canelo, and he had some other good fights in there. But and I feel like all that wear and tear, it may have some effect on Beterbiev, but I see him coming through this fight. No disrespect to Billam-Smith. But what do you think of Smith's chances? Because he's talking about knocking Beterbiev out.
I don't think he go past the 5th round.
And Beterbiev,
I think Beterbiev knocks him clear out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only time we really seen Beterbiev even halfway go to war was with Anthony Yarde. Salute to Anthony Yarde, man. And again, Anthony Yarde, he did the best against Beterbiev than any opponent has done. Yeah. And sometimes those fights take a little bit something out of you. But Beterbiev, man, he's shown consistency. Shout out to Iceman John Scully. But how long can he do this, man? Because eventually, all right, he goes through this fight with a puncher like Smith, and then he's still waiting for the Bivol fight. So by the time he gets to the Bivol fight, will he be fresh enough to make it competitive? Will he be relying on his power more? Does he still have as much of an advantage, or does Bivol have an advantage by the time they actually meet? What do you think?
It's a chapter in the book of The Art of War. And one of the ways of beating your opponent is allowing your opponents to fight each other. Keep on fighting each other, you know what I'm saying, and go through those wars while you're not going through those type of wars. You see what I'm saying? And as you watch those type of wars that they have, you're able to look at your opponent and see his weaknesses and his strengths, because you're watching them against the other opposition. And about time he gets to you, he's kind of worn out and tired. You see what I'm saying? And you're the more fresher man, and you know what it takes to beat him. And I'm going to be truthfully honest, man. I've been watching Beterbiev, and I feel, though, that he is on a decline. But the last thing to go is that boom. You see what I'm saying? And that boom is serious. And if you don't, and he sets you up for it, too. So you got to be so careful, man. But that's how I look at what Bivol, man. He's letting the opposition fight each other, man. And when it's all said and done, I see you up top.
You know something? You're a wise man. You're a wise man, Obi.
Thank you.
Because you walked us right with that analogy right to this next topic. With, I believe, you gave me some understanding of what Team Benavidez has done. Now that he's got the leverage with the win over Plant, common opponent with Canelo, everybody's been chasing that Canelo bag, and rightfully so, because it is a bag. We're hearing that Team Benavidez made him a huge offer, the type of offer that seems embarrassing for Canelo to turn it down because it might have some duck sauce on it if he does that. The art of war. Canelo's done fought Bivol. He done fought Plant. And now Benavidez is licking his chops. Is Canelo gonna take this fight, or does he do something different?
Well, he's gonna fight Bivol. He, for some reason, in his mind, he still feels though that he can beat Bivol. He thought when he first fought Bivol that he was the low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But what it ended up being is that apple that Eve bit into. You know, the thing that brought destruction into his life. You know what I'm saying? And he want to go back there and try it again. And that's what we do. We keep on going back. You know, he want another bite of that same apple. And he might get stopped.
He's going to get stopped if this is at 175, because I'm saying to myself, Mauricio Suleiman, no matter how unscrupulous or scrupulous he may or may not be, depending on the day of the week, he ain't going to sanction Bivol coming down to 168. So is Canelo crazy enough again to go up to 175 and he didn't have no wins the first time around? It seems like a ridiculous premise. Or is he just selling that act to the Mexican fan base, for machismo? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man.
Well, he said that the fight will be at 175 because he said he doesn't want the rhetoric from the fans that said, hey, you came up to 175 to challenge him. He wasn't trying to challenge you, and you lost. So if you're going to fight him again, don't bring him down to 68. Go back up to 75 where you thought you were going to win before. And you said your hand was the problem that time. Well, your hand is fixed now.
Man, you better watch him, man. You better watch for that juicy beef, man. I'm telling you, man. I ain't
tell you what,
him.
he didn't have none of that in his last fight, boy. Because I'm gonna tell you, by the 6th round, he was tired.
Yeah.
And look, all skill went out the window. It was all will the rest of the way, man. It was rock'em sock'em robots, man, for the last 6 rounds, and the crowd still booed.
Yeah. Again, talking about a fighter on the decline, I say it respectfully because, again, the challenges he's taken, they've been great. But, you get wear and tear. And some people, they point to the Triple G trilogy. No matter how if you think Triple G has declined, some people think that's, cost Nello some years, I don't know, man. I think he need to either fight, talk about being between a rock and a hard spot. He need to fight Benavidez. You need to fight Charlo. If that can be the one thing, if he can pull Charlo out of this holding pattern, if you will,
that would be a smart fight for him.
Yeah. To kind of, speaking of low-hanging fruit, no disrespect to Charlo, but if he was looking to, quote, pick on somebody, say, hey, I want this guy that's been on the shelf, see if we can, get him to get his faculties together enough, bring him up to 168, take advantage of that aspect. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things Canelo can do to slant things his way and hopefully give Charlo enough incentive to challenge himself to fight through, whatever's going on. So, hey, PBC, y'all can pay me, cash at me. All
yes,
good.
Indeed. Copies of this can be obtained at your local video store.
Yeah, heard. Now, let's go into fight week, man. I want to cover fight week before we get up out of here. Of course, the GWOAT, Clarissa Shields, she's fighting
my little
this weekend.
sis. Yeah.
Yes, we heard Hannah Gabriels was playing dirty last week. So again, when I make these suggestions about what I'm beginning to say Canelo, right? what Canelo may or may not do. He does have the history with clenbuterol, does have the history of the juicy beef, pause. And then we see Hannah Gabriels, even a woman getting popped. We've seen Puello pop. So again, people been popping.
Did you see her arms though?
She more solid than me.
I'm gonna see if I can find a picture, man. That girl arms, man. looked so big. I was like, wow. Let me
She
see
had
if
them Ash. Look, she had one arm Ashford, one arm Simpson, solid as a rock.
Yo, man, it's amazing, man, how these people think they can just do this type of stuff and get away with it. And so, you know, a lot of times they actually do get away with it,
Yeah,
man.
man.
I mean, I don't know if you can see that. No, I probably can't see it,
Yeah,
but
right there. Look at her shoulder cap. Look at that bite.
man, look
You
at
know what I
that
mean?
bicep.
Come
Yeah,
on,
man.
man.
Come on, man. She got her arms look better than my arms,
That's what
man. You
I'm
know?
telling you. And you know, I'm glad that they caught that. Now the new opponent, I'm familiar with her name because she fought Franchon
Fresh.
Cruz Dezern at
She
a
fought her
point,
twice
fought her twice, right?
and
So
lost to her both times.
this is no tomato can. This is a, you know, a championship you know, perennial contender. And I like this because, you know, it gives, you know, Clarissa to impress again because short notice always creates a dangerous opportunity. And I like that
Great point.
Shields has been developing her personality and her persona. She looks great. She looks healthy. She looks happy. She's got style. And she's doing this in Detroit, not far from the hometown of Flintstone, Michigan. What more can we want from the GOAT, right?
Man, little sis is doing her thing, man. She's really working the social media world, man. She's putting herself out there. She's talking her ish, man, and she's backing it up. The young lady she's about to fight, man, and she's coming off a 3-fight win streak. You know what I'm saying? But I think that when it's all said and done, the GOAT gonna do her dirty. I really feel though this girl gonna get done dirty, man. She's 16-5. She should have had 5 losses, so she know how to lose. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, man. And I like what you did say, man. That unknown when somebody just first comes in and you haven't been training for them, so you have to adjust to them. But you know, when we're talking about elite level,
Mm,
she done seen everything in the amateurs. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
It's nothing she has not seen yet. You know what I mean? And she was sparring with Franchon Cruz. You know what I'm saying? She
Yes.
beat Franchon Cruz. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell you, when her and Franchon Cruz put themselves on social media after the sparring match, Franchon looked like she got worked over.
She was getting
She
sharp.
looked like the GOAT was working over on her, man. I didn't even recognize that was Franchon. You know
Listen,
what I'm saying?
iron sharpens iron, but one of them knives is bigger than the other, right?
You're gonna get bruised for sure. So
Oh
yeah, I
man.
mean, the fight is gonna be good as long as it lasts. You know what I'm saying? But little sis gonna put her in the blender, man.
Nah, for sure. And you know, definitely this is a Saturday night affair on the weekend. So always what we come to expect. Another
Mm-hmm.
fighter that had we're gonna see him this weekend. It's been a lot of stop and starts to get him to this point, and but he's back. I'm talking about Adrian Broner. He's in a 10 rounder against a guy by the name of Bill Hutchinson. This is a Don King affair. Um, what you think, man? Off rip.
Man, Don King never seems to amaze me, man. You
OG shit.
know, this guy, man, at one time was put out of boxing. You know what I'm saying? And he's still there. He's still doing his thing. He still does the same old tricks, man. He put a whole bunch of money in front of you in a duffel bag. You know what I'm saying? And he gets you in there, man. It's kind of hard to say no, you know, when you got all that money sitting with you right in your face. You know what I'm saying? You know, it said a bird in the hand is better than two in the bush. You know
Absolutely.
what I'm saying? You can promise me a whole lot, but you're putting this much in front of me right now. You know what I mean? And he got the kids salivating and things of that nature. But he been doing that, man, since the 70s.
Yeah.
He ain't changed. He walks in there with a duffel bag and a blank contract. Sign your name at the bottom and I fill the stuff in later.
Yep.
That
You know,
contract might say that all the money that comes on the back end is mine. You don't know because all you did is sign a blank sheet. Don King the best to do it, man. And everybody knows it but yet you still sign up with him every time. Come on. He the king.
Absolutely. When I think of Don King, man, I think of this one phrase, man, the game is the game. You know, the game is a game, and he's one of the best at playing it. I just hope that, because, you know, guys that play that, they got it. One person got to get paid pretty well, right? In order for you to entice others, like everybody can't be down bad. And, you know, just using a music analogy, you know, we would like to think that somebody ate with Puffy. 1, 2, 3 people ate with Puffy. You know, everybody ain't get done dirty, you know, but there are the people that said, hey, I had to fight for mine. And once we got it straight, we got it straight. And Don King, I think Adrian Broner, if he can keep it straight, he's not going to allow anybody to take him sideways. But again, it's a big if. But I'm
you know
hopeful.
what? I never ever hear any of Hispanics that are signed with Don King ever complain. Not once.
Yeah.
Not once. You know what I'm saying? So well, it is what it is. But yeah, man.
Yeah, so we're gonna check that out this weekend, because again, if Adrian Broner can you know resume his career, I just want to see him busy. You know, I like his personality. I don't like to see people kick him when he's down, but what good brothers do, we pull each other up. And sometimes, you know, it's a rough grabbing pause, but you gotta pull this man up and say, hey, we counting on you, Broner. You know what I'm saying? We ain't watching for them. We're not having these expectations because you're average. We believe that you better than that. And so we're gonna see what you're gonna do, man. Anything else before we get up out of here?
Nah, man. You all can find me at Hardcore Boxing News. Come to on Monday through Fridays at 8 a.m., man. Come through. We talk boxing over there. Hardcore's Hangout, man. Come check me out.
Absolutely. And I'm gonna come over there and kick it with you. You guys, drop a like, drop a comment, share this one. And listen, this is the championship rounds. We got out of here pretty good. Go get outside, man. The summer's coming, man. Get outside and get you some sun. And we out of here, man. Enjoy, folks.
Salute.